think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all of the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. I wanted to talk about a phenomenon, man. It be taking so long for these things to come out, man. That's why I say I think I'm a very, very patient man, and that's why I say this is a stakes in the ground type channel. I believe that we needed to revisit this whole good cop, bad cop thing. This stuff is it's a marathon, man. It's definitely not a race. Brooklyn hit. Salute, Body Work. Salute, bro. I feel like I needed to revisit this. Let's revisit the good cop, bad cop boxing talk movement that's been recently confirmed. Let's break it down. Body Work Boxing, the pulse of boxing. Silence is consent. Boxing minds, fact-based content, man. I'm not even gonna go through the curriculum about gaslighting. I've been talking about gaslighting for so long, man. In boxing talk, I think we went over this, but this is actually the proof in the pudding. This is the proof in the pudding. And so, yeah, some people are not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? The people who need to hear this is gonna hear it. A lot of people are not gonna like it. But this is proof that in real time, I'll be telling y'all what it is, man. I be trying to make the conversations better so you don't get trapped. You don't get divided and conquered like the Normans and the Ennises, like the Shakurs and the Davises, like the Russells and the Davises, like the Keishons and the Davises. Hey, so you don't get splintered up and get all in a frenzy, man. Keep your eye on the prize, man. Get binary about stuff. Balls going in holes, soccer balls going in goals, man. Don't let the politics, don't let the soft couch, the terminology, the brash, the harshness. Don't let that get you up out of your critical thinking skills, man. Please. And I'm like, man, look, man, I went hard online before. I used to go hard. And I said, you know what? It ain't about all of that. And it was not, I would never say it was unprovoked. But I started saying, look, man, you in the game for the long haul. You know you a brick by brick type channel. Take your time. Settle in your lane. That's why I say I'm the pulse of boxing, whereas at any point in time, I can give you the pulse of what's going on. I feel like 140 is my division. 135 was. I started looking at the little guys. I started looking at the big guys. At one point in time, I was all over the women's boxing. Then I said, man, it's too controversial. I still keep tabs on it, but it's too controversial. You know what I'm saying? They turn it, people, when it comes to the women's boxing, people turn it into, I learned my fighters from across the pond. I kept my ear to the streets. I always gave credit where it was due. References cited. I even stopped going and using stuff because people started saying, oh man, it's all you. I'm like, well, hold on, man. If that's the case, how come my shit came out last night, 2 weeks ago, and theirs came out? You can't do that. They did that to us in history. That's why they have no problem with still telling our children about Cristobal Colon. You know what I'm saying? We know that's not the truth. That's not gonna stop people from teaching it. So I figure, man, let's go back into this. Cookie Monster, body work, sounding good as usual. I appreciate that mic check. I need that. You know I need that. And just to let y'all know, I'm here. Oh yeah, I'm here. I gotta get through this. Because I gotta play something. It's not that long, but I gotta play something, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna dive into this thing. All right. So I gotta do this. For a second. Yo, and just a sneak peek, y'all. This is really, look, man. Hold on, let me move this real quick. This what I really be wanting to what I really want to dive into was this. I'm gonna show y'all this just to let y'all know, man. It's wild. Let me just show y'all this. Somebody on Instagram was saying Murtaza Aliyev is like the Russian Drago. And I was like, wow. I said, that's crazy. That's a crazy story. That's how I think. That's a crazy storyline, right? And why is it? Because it go right along with this, what I said. So I'm thinking, man, this it's a movie. And that's how I'm looking at it, like, well, yeah, Boots could do that. So I just want to give y'all a teaser, man. But I'm on something, man. I want Boots, man. I hope he get it done on this Quran stuff, man. But I want this guy to have something, man, so he can get in the mix, man. So I'll be trying to get real creative, man. But like that's what's been on the back of my mind. That's the backdrop of a story that I'm mapping out and developing, man, because I've been watching, man. But it's a movie, man. It's just like it, ain't it? Ain't it? Ain't it? It's a movie. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, you know. But let me stop horse playing around. Y'all like, man, you know, come on, Mike. All right, man. Let me do this, man. Hold on. It's a movie though, y'all. That's a movie, man. That's a movie, bro. Everything is there, man. The script is there, man. Like, it's everything that needs to be is there. The script is laid out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna charge y'all nothing for that. But let me get serious, man. Let me get serious. Let me put my serious face on and do this. All right. This is it. Just to let y'all know, this was September 19th, 2023. Right? This is October 29th. So we talking 13 months ago. And that's why I say this is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie, man. That fact base. It don't get the congregation jumping for joy, but listen to your boy. Look.
Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. The other day, I did a segment, and I think maybe some of the message that I put out in my segment, there was a lot of little things that I put in there, man, that was, you had to go beneath the surface of what I was saying. And I was talking about that checkerboard. right? And I was talking about how on that movie, The Devil's Advocate, Al Pacino, who played the devil, he said, "I'm the hand up Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm the one that they don't see coming." And, you know, I think in life, a lot of times, a lot of people live based on reaction. Basically, something happens and they react to it. Nobody really is. It's rare to see people that are proactive. And the ones that are proactive, studies show that they are actually more successful than people who are reactive. But I think, you know, when it comes down to boxing, man, I think Al Pacino, or that character, or that thought, or what he embodied in that movie, has fallen upon the sport of boxing. And I think that right now we're in a state where we're actually reacting to everything that's going on in boxing. And those of us who are in positions of power or have a certain amount of influence on the game, I don't think that we are as proactive as we could be. And that's not speaking for myself, because I'm not even a piece on the chessboard. I'm just a guy that do content, a guy that follow boxers, a guy that kind of try to put fresh water back into the game, and a guy that believes in putting, highlighting boxers and uplifting boxers more so than tearing them down. That's just me. I look at everything comprehensive. I think a lot of my fan base is they're boxing purists for the most part. Some of them might like how I talk about a particular fighter, but I talk about so many different fighters that whenever I speak the wholehearted truth on these fighters, whenever I speak the truth, I can offend somebody. So if I'm up here every day talking about 6, 7, 8 fighters every week, and I'm keeping it a buck for all of them, a splinter of their fan base, depending on what they pick and choose out of what I say about them, I'm going to lose. That's why I say that for me, without attaching my name to any large organization or joining any clan or no clique or any big group, you know, I face a tall task of climbing this mountain, so I build my channel brick by brick. But one of my observations is, I think a lot of y'all are getting good cop, bad cop, man. And again, just like when I was talking about, you know, that chessboard, I'm actually talking about something else. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna plant a couple seeds. I might be watering a couple seeds right now, and then this message might actually be a harvest to somebody actually listening. But my message to you is, do not get good cop, bad cop. You know, you ever watch First 48? And they're stuck. You know what I'm saying? They see the body. There's a couple clues. You know, whether it was a cell phone off in the bushes or a knife with some blood on it, a hint of a fingerprint. And, you know, they go a couple hours, maybe 6 hours. They get, you know, a major break in the case. They bring in somebody for questioning. They sit them down in the room. The good cop comes in. How you doing, man? You hungry? How you doing? You hungry? You need something to eat? You want a cigarette? The minute you drink the water, the minute you take the cigarette, the minute you eat the food, they kind of got you. They got you. You don't realize it because, again, you're going to be reactive at that point. You weren't proactive in understanding what was going on to you. But when you hear these people come out early in the day, these might be the people that, you know, in all essence of the word, they might, let's just say they might read you your rights. They might give you your Mirandas. You know, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand? Do you agree and accept? Proceed forward. This will be a recorded message. You know, basically saying that pretty much anything that happens right here, we're going to use this in the case. So they'll lay down the law. They'll tell you the law, and you're like, oh man, I like this person, man. They you know, they tell me the law. They bring out the books. They give me all of these codes, 6-2, and they'll tell you all the, you know, maritime law and, you know, how you supposed to proceed and how you supposed to rebuttal and how you can object and what your rights are. You have the right of second, you know, whatever, you know, all these big terminology. So you thinking, man, yeah, this is good, man. And they're telling you, oh man, you know, this is what I like. This is what I like, man. I like this fighter. Oh man, this is what it really is. This is what, you know, but they don't keep it 100 either, because you gotta realize, man, you're still dealing with a cop. Still dealing with a cop. And he's hold on, man. I mean, you know, you good with this water, you good with the water and the cigarette, your sandwich good, you know what I'm saying? You want some chips? Hold on real quick, I gotta go get something. So out walks the good cop. In walks the bad cop. The bad cop won't come in right away and tell you, you know what? We on to you. Now, either you can give us what we need, you can tell us what's going on, but we're going to put your little walnuts in a vice grip, and we're going to squeeze with both hands until you give us what you want, or what we want. It's definitely not what you want. And every day this goes on. The good cop comes in. This goes on for hours. The good cop comes in. He tells you this and this and that. You know what I'm saying? And then the bad cop comes back and he tells you this and this and that. But what you got to think about is in the future, when you hear me say coin toss, as fans, don't be coin tossed. Don't be coin tossed. Well, what do you mean, Mike? On a coin, there's heads and there's tails. They throw the coin up in the air wherever it lands, blah, blah, blah. What you got to understand is that whether it's heads or tails, those are both sides of the same coin. And that's how, as boxing fan, that's how you get played. You are being coin tossed, you know, by some people who, one's playing the good cop, one's playing the bad cop. Either way, they're both sides of the same coin. What is that coin worth? Well, it depends. Depends on who's playing good cop and bad cop. You gotta go beneath the surface, man, but you can't just, we're so unassuming, you know. I know even with me and my dealings online, I mean, I go places and I do things, and even without any ill intentions, I'm just like everybody else, just going along, you know, just chatting it up, just, you know, living it up, just like everybody else. Nothing derogatory. You know, people will pick and choose what they find offensive about what I say, about what I do. You know, it's for me, it's like, it's almost been like that, you know what I'm saying, all my life. I'm going to the store, somebody looking at me crazy, you know, but it might be how I look, you know what I'm saying. I just realized that a lot of people don't like the truth. When you point out the truth, you know what I'm saying, it's almost like hitting somebody in they no-no spot. The truth nowadays is like poking somebody in their no-no spot. So you know, the truth is not appreciated, the truth is not celebrated. Right now we're in the era of salacious. And the 48 laws of power, whereas, you know, all publicity is good publicity. Where if you can get enough numbers online and enough people echoing that same sentiment, then that's perceived as the truth. And it couldn't be more far from it. So right now, you know, in the morning, somebody will come on, they'll say this, that's the good cop. In the afternoon, somebody else will come on and say that, that's the bad cop. Either way, you getting played. Either way, you getting played, and that coin is going in that machine. And that machine really has no real power except for to make money. So my appeal to you is to not be coin tossed, do not be good cop, bad cop. Walk circumspectly, and really pay attention to how people flip-flop. Because they'll show you who they are. They'll show you exactly who they are and what they're about and what all this is about. And what it boils down to is the almighty dollar. They say that the almighty dollar is the root of all evil. And I referenced that clause where Al Pacino said, I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm the one that they don't see coming. Y'all didn't see people coming, man. Y'all didn't see these people coming. Y'all really still don't even understand what's going on right now. And a lot of y'all actually have your little walnuts in a vice grip. Whereas you at the mercy of going along and getting along, and because you see yourself in that spot. But guess what? You're never going to get in that spot. And the sooner, it's just like being in a bad relationship. I've been in several. But even in a bad relationship, when you realize that you're in a bad relationship, the very first thing you should do is cut it off and get out. You should go. You should leave. Why? Because if you make amends, you open up, you make a sacrifice, you give up something that you really shouldn't, or agree to something that you really shouldn't, and that happens. Now you just one step deeper. So to climb up out of that hole, you just dug that hole just a little bit deeper. So to climb up out of that hole, it's not deep yet. It's fairly shallow. But every time you give in, you dig in that hole deeper. So when you finally get out, it's going to be harder to get out. But then you also left a big manhole in your life. Something that you got to acknowledge. And yeah, dirt will fall in it. It'll close up eventually. You know what I'm saying? It'll, the surface will be smooth. Maybe even the soil will be rich. Something else can grow inside of it. But when you realize you're in a bad relationship and you see these red flags, believe them. Believe these red flags. And every day online we see red flags, man. So that's just like where you can have common goodwill. You can go and support somebody. You say, hey, man, yeah, you're doing good stuff. But because y'all don't agree on everything, the minute they find something you say to be offended by, they're going to squeeze your little walnuts. They're going to set in offense, because that's cute nowadays. That's common nowadays. They're gonna say something purposely to offend you, because they want the back and forth. So right now, what I'm saying is, man, it's a lot of people with manufactured beef. It's a lot of people with manufactured drama. People are being good cop, bad cop, and I just see people like that little ping pong. When you look at ping pong with tennis, man, like everybody, they always got a lot of balls. They always have all these extra ping pongs. Why? Because the ping pong is the thing that's probably going to get damaged the most. The tennis ball is probably the thing that's going to get damaged the most. And it's the most disposable. And that's what you are right now in boxing. If you're just watching, you getting good cop, bad cop, you think that because, this big crowd is over here watching this. It's just like a big crowd over here watching the fight in high school when somebody and there's a student sitting down at the desk still doing the work. Be that student sitting down at the desk doing the work. Do not follow what everybody else is doing. We learned this when we were younger, but somehow we forgot it. And I always said the loudest voice is not the most important. The loudest voice is not the most important. I just wanted to put that out there, man, give you something to think about in the sport of boxing, man, because it's one thing to support somebody, but it's another thing to act like, we can act like we know what we know about business or don't know, we can act ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse. When it comes to the law, you can play ignorant all you want, but the law is the law. And the way some people are doing business and how some of these people are doing business, it's like one person that's always overselling and under-delivering. I can see if when they got in the ring, it was lights out. I can see if, you know, people don't constantly say that they fall asleep watching this fighter, but
Really could have let that ride out. I really could have let that ride out. I'm trying to tell you, man, fruits and veggies not that Reggie, man. Did I call it, man? And that's just when I actually made it. That's just actually when I actually made that good cop, bad cop. But it's a gentleman, right? It's a gentleman who broke the internet not too long ago. He goes by the name of Cat Williams, right? Well, for the longest time, Cat Williams was telling people stuff in real time. People just scoffing their nose up at what he was saying. Oh man, he being sensational. Oh man, he hilarious. They took it for a joke because he's a funny guy. I always thought he was better than Kevin Hart. I always did. I always thought that, man. I thought in the beginning Kevin was funny, and then he got to being something else. But I always thought Cat was more funny, more clever. Like Dave with that intellectual comedy, or Martin with that intellectual comedy, where they could, you know, Eddie in his prime, intellectual comedy on stage. Cat broke the internet. And what did it take for Cat to break the internet? What did it take? He was already world renowned. Cat never had a problem with putting butts in seats. Never. Ever. But his resurgence, with everybody, what stamped him? Him getting with somebody who you would consider, could you say, I wouldn't say Shannon is a plant. I mean, in some sense, in the culture he is, because when you look at him coming out with the do-rag and the black and mild and having the Hennessy and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh man, why you gotta do that, Shannon? But he politicked his way into a situation to have a club Shay Shay. And this little guy, and Cat Williams, the short little funny looking man, who been telling the truth the whole time, and people were saying he crazy. Like, remember they saw, oh, man, Lee was fighting with a 16-year-old. What happened? You know, all of the stuff and the way it played out, and from a distance, that's how it looked. Got locked up all them times and never convicted. But it took for him to get with somebody as salacious and controversial like Shannon Sharpe. Kevin Hart, who's been telling the truth this whole time, it took for him to link up with Shannon Sharpe. When Shannon Sharpe was it was almost like the perfect storm. Cat Williams going there, he speak his truth. What we started seeing. The bun diddly. So Cat Williams looked like gold, don't he? Right? But all them time when people were saying he was crazy, he tripping, what is Cat talking about? Like, oh man, what is he saying? What is he doing? All that time though, what'd he do? He stood 10 toes. He stood on where he was at. He didn't change. He didn't change his truth. His truth never changed. But when he was saying it, people didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all picking up what I'm putting down. But more than likely, I'll probably never get on a couch like Shannon's. And in the same vein of what I like to do, I'm never going to move from my truth. My truth only changes along with the circumstances as it relates to what I'm here to do. And that's to give all these boxers a fair shot. Be a boxing fan and represent boxing fans. Put everything on the scale, up to the light. Measure it with a ruler. Put it in a petri dish. Study it, look at it, watch it, analyze it. And then give fans the little nuggets that I come up with, because we all watching and looking at the same stuff. We all looking and watching the same people. But here recently, man, somebody, I say influential. I never been shying and saying that I agree with the man 80% of what he say. I agree with it. It's the 20% that I'm like, oh man, here you go with that. But my 20% with my 20% is just that crazy to where it's just like, oh. So I ain't shit because I don't agree with your 20%. That's pretty high. That's pretty high. Especially if somebody else, if I agree with this other person about 90% of what they say, that's damn good. What more do you want? I'm not pulling it out. I'm not sitting on no couch. I'm not linking up for no endorsement. And plus, I'd rather be the Lloyd Banks of this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it, man. Stay in my lane, understand my market, understand my audience, understand where I'm at. And I just give the pulse on boxing. I do my thing. I try to carve out my own niche with the graphics and do my thumbnails and all that. People bite that shit. I can't say shit about that. But it's true. It's shown. It's an influence. That's why I'm starting to like the production more than the actual conversation. Why? Because a lot of people play games, and when they can be forthright with their power and their influence, when they can be forthright and say, oh man, he shouldn't have cursed that girl out like that. Like, yeah, I gave that man an endorsement, but you know he be all out of pocket. It's not until he feels as though he's seen and heard enough. So damn near 13 months later, he come out and tell you that, yeah, they all getting paid. I built it. I made it. I'm Nino Brown. Some of us was calling out in real time. I'm just like, man, look, we respect you, but man, come on, man. That's my idea of leadership and how leadership go, man. You're not a leader when you're not a leader when you convenient, man. Maybe that's just some military shit. Maybe it is. I think if I came from a single parent household, so I don't think my mom really could actually pick and choose when she wanted to be a leader. People say, oh, there you go, you talking because you ain't got no father. And I'm like, well, shit, Lil Durk had a father who told him, you know what I'm saying? He had a father. So people pick and choose that when they want to run that shit too. But it's crazy that here we actually got this man, but it got to the point to where this man actually started naming names. And when it come to Purple Veins, I've been off of that 3 years ago. When it come to Champ, I've been off of that 2.5, almost 3 years ago. Because once you start seeing what it is, and some of these other channels who they are pander to because I told y'all the game, right? I told y'all the game a long time ago, right? It's like when it comes down to something like this, let's just say Tank, right? If it comes down to somebody like Tank, either you like him and respect him as a fighter, and then you acknowledge what's going on business-wise, and you take all that in consideration with where he's at and what he's doing. You gotta take all that in consideration, like you do everybody else. Right? But there are a group of people that no matter what, they're going to cater to whoever's on the opposite end of Tank. And I've given this example so many times, but they're going to cater to whoever's on the opposite end. So we can replace Tank with Canelo. There's some people that just hate Canelo and they're going to cater to whoever's on the opposite end of Canelo. That might be a better example, right? There's somebody like Jermell Charlo who there were times when people could have at least made people acknowledge who Jermell Charlo was in the capacity of what he was, right? But they tucked away, and when he they didn't celebrate him when him and his brother got the keys to the city. But they'll just like they do Adrian Broner, they'll call him Rum Punch Charlo, or they'll bask in it like when he was slapping, but when everybody run around avoiding him, they wasn't giving him the credit. That's Big Mom. But with Jermell, they didn't acknowledge. They wasn't saying, "Oh man, like now is not the time to not be supporting Jermell, man. It's Juneteenth, like that's why I be saying that cold shit that everybody be talking about. That shit is a myth. It ain't no code. We shouldn't be able to pick and choose when we want to be on it. But it was Juneteenth, and this whole community decided to turn their back on Jermell. Regis, they did the same thing. And I said, if you looking at it as a fan and you looking at everybody, like the way boxing is set up right now is going into the fight, everybody's going to be going for Devin Haney and everybody's going to be saying F his opponent, whoever it is. But then you want to see the fight. You don't really want to see the fight. You just want to deride that one fighter. Why? Because somebody would at least have some balance and say, oh, okay, well, shoot. Well, you are talking about Lomachenko, and yeah, he do have a way to be able to get on the inside, and yeah, his footwork might be a little bit better. Somebody would actually beat, but no, nobody did that. And that went from Jojo Diaz. They say nothing about him coming up from 130. They say nothing about him ducking Javier Fortuna and pulling up, talking about injuries. You have people baking the shit out of Shakur right now, but nobody said nothing about when Devin was supposed to fight Javier Fortuna and he pulled out with a shoulder injury. Why? Because it was this whole community at that time spreading shit about it. Look at Fortuna. He just now getting ready to come back. But before the Jojo Diaz loss, around that time when he was supposed to fight Devin Haney, before the Jojo Diaz loss, when he fought Jojo Diaz, before Ryan, before Jojo Diaz, before that, Devin was supposed to fight him and he pulled out with a shoulder injury. That's much like Abner Mares, who get no flack. He get to call all biased fights, but Abner Mares, when he ducked Tank. So when people were saying, "Oh, we need to see records of Earl's eye injury," we need to see. They ain't say that about Abner Mares. How he pulled out, ducked smooth the fuck off, but they'll tell you everybody who Tank ain't fought. What about the people who ducked him? I heard the dumbest shit ever today, man. I heard the dumbest shit ever today from Paulie Malignaggi, man. This man said Tank Davis waited to age Lomachenko out. I'm like, well, goddamn, how old was Devin? He was 25. They just fought. How old is Kambosos? He's 31. They just fought in May. But Tank waited him out. So in about what, 10 days? 10 days, Tank will be 30. So in 10 days, Tank will be 30. Kambosos is 31. But Loma just fought Kambosos. But Tank waited and aged him out. And Loma ain't got but like 21 fights. He 18-3. He ain't been the most active in all that time. Chunks of time were missing. They say nothing about that. Selective, they say nothing about him bringing people up. They say nothing about Gary Russell having to lose 5 pounds the night before. They say nothing. But depending on who's flipping the coin or what side, or if they want to appease to this audience or do this to that audience, they don't tell you. They don't never wholeheartedly tell the truth. It's up to you. But we just get confirmation that they was all payola. The mastermind came out and said who was doing it. So in real time, I wasn't hating when I was saying, oh man, this is what this is, man. How the hell How the hell y'all besties? And then he at night, yeah, it's like Penelope. When she told she was going to marry the suitors when Odysseus was away at war. Penelope said, oh, when I get finished sewing up this blanket, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to marry one of y'all motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Sewing all during the day. And they like, oh, the suitors is lavering up. They like, all right, you know what I'm saying, just one more knit, you know what I'm saying, one more knit. And at night, she will undo it. And they dumbasses never picked up on what she was doing. Bought her just enough time for big homie to come back. Disguise. So let's not, like, in real time, man, when you know your favorite content creator, he could be your favorite content creator. A lot of them are great. I give them all, for some, they all got different talents and all that. I give them my salutes and my praise. Some of them I agree with way more than others. Some of them I just disagree on a couple parts. And some of them I just be like, God dang, man, do you ever keep it a buck on these people? And it's a few times when it just be, you know what I'm saying? Some places a few times where trolls be in there. They troll me, I troll them. We do the same shit every day, every other day, you know what I'm saying? Depending on what's going on, because we know where we stand. It just happened. That's just part of being a fan. So that kind of stuff happened. But this agenda-driven stuff, like how you take the high road? You don't want to be a leader when it comes time when somebody say something that's offensive to. You don't want to take the high road when somebody do that. You want to play politics. But then you want to take credit for building all this other stuff. It's like, okay, well, that's selective leadership. If people look at you like that's what you are, that's what you claim to be. And on the other hand, you can't be so original when you do the same shit every day. The bad cop, you can't be that original when you do the same shit every day. But now it's been exposed. Now I'm not a part of that. I told y'all, I know what y'all all about. You been new. That's why I say, man, in boxing conversations, when you know you on some bullshit and somebody call you out, just acknowledge it and just change it, flip it up. Don't wait 13 months. Just to be a flip-flopper and 3 weeks later, oh yeah, man, T.O., man, yeah, he need to get his tail beat. Oh yeah, it's like, nah, man, man. Come on, man. Nah, you were scared to lose some of that little Latin part of the fan base. Or just like when people start tiptoeing around what Canelo be doing. They be so happy the shit on tape, but they be just tiptoeing all around what Canelo be doing. I'm like, man, yeah, you just want to preserve that you want to preserve that fan base. You scared of the backlash. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait. Do that shit in real time. But then when somebody else say, oh man, yeah, I ain't just gonna politic it away. Now see, he speak facts, he speak truth, man. All right, good cop. You know what I'm saying? All right, good cop. But I do want to say congratulations and salute for finally spilling the beans. For finally letting people know that, yeah, dang, you ain't tripping, man. That organization was built with the right in the spirit of the right in the right spirit. And I believe it probably did operate originally in the right spirit, but somewhere along the lines they started becoming exactly what they were designed to combat. And it's crazy I use that analogy because I use the analogy of whole life, in which that name should have been changed because it's original. We already know who they, when it was formed, who they were originally policing, right? But the name never changed. Did the spirit behind what they originally set out to do, did that change? That's debatable. I ain't gonna charge y'all nothing for that. But just like Cat Williams, man, I'm gonna continue to speak my truth. I'm gonna continue to try to keep it a buck. And am I right about everything? Absolutely not. I'm not privy to a lot of the information out there. I do my best to try to stay abreast of what's going on. I try to be fair when I'm judging these boxers, and I look at behavior. And depending on what you saying on this channel and what you saying on that channel, that's how I look at you. So if you always standing up and saying you this and this and that in that vein, when I start seeing you not being like this and all that in that vein, I start saying, hey man, that's not of you. I know you a fan of this, but hold on, what you just changed up on that. What's up with that? Now I was rocking with 85% of what you were saying, but tell me, break this down. Oh man, get the fuck out of here, man. Get out of here. Okay, all right. Aye, Captain, sir. You know what I'm saying? Aye. You got it, homie. You got it, man. Starting to sound too much goddamn truth. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is. And I'm sure people, you know, it ain't much reading between the lines. There ain't no need to say the man's name. Because I don't want it to seem like, and that's so funny when you give somebody their salute and they praise, or you say, hey, blah, blah, blah. Oh man, look at you. You're trying to get this. But then if you just happen to move off, I built you. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. I was like, hey, I'd just rather, hey, from afar, salute on that. Yep, all that's good. All that, I don't agree with all of that shit, but hey, rock on with your bad self. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna let y'all see this thing that I had, man. That's not it. I'm gonna spare y'all, man. Because I really don't think it's not, I don't really think that it's a lot to really just really dive in. I'm just saying, man, like if your spider senses start tingling, man, and it start looking and it start sounding and looking funny, and you like, why is this being pushed? Why is that being pushed? Why is that? Like, dive into that. Research into that. Look into that. Explore that. Take your time. And you better speak easily. Speak easy. You know what I'm saying? Speak easy. But I'm you know, it's crazy how, you know, it's man, it's such a double standard, man. It's like high school online, man. That's why I say, man, y'all gotta support the smaller channels, man. That's why, you know why the big channels get away with doing what they do for so long? Because the smaller channels don't get the support. That's the truth, man. I've seen a lot of good channels, man. I'm like, oh man, but it just people want to be selective. It's just like people being selective. People selective about this whole drug treat stuff. It'd be whole different selective energy. People are out with knives and pitchforks when they come to Ryan, right? But when Michelle Rivera popped and Frank Martin still got it done, they gave him an interview. And in the interview, he was on there calling Tank a B. I'm like, you don't even got no respect for the game. When it come down to gloves, when it come down to these accusations, like I told you, when Fundora did that with Lubin, man, and how ugly that fight was, they said Fundora had something in his glove. When Murtazaliev came out and did that with Tim Tszyu, they said, oh man, we got to check his gloves and see if you're on his PEDs, and then asked him. Like, he gonna be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I had some animal cookies, you know what I'm saying? Some of them animal cookies, had a baby anvil in my glove, you know what I'm saying? I had all of that, son. How you gonna ask him that? But we be selective with that. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole glove, there's a whole big glove controversy. It was a whole bunch of people attached to Snack. Real selective. When it came down to that Conte stuff, people were real selective about when they wanted to say this or do that, whatever. It's real selective, man. It's real selective. Because when it come down to Canelo, you can't bring it up, but people still talking about David Benavidez and what happened with him. But I'm like, well, he went on to go get David's belt after that happened with David. But you can't bring up drugs and stuff like that when it comes to Nello. That's a whole different conversation. When people miss weight, people don't bring up the fact that Devin didn't even appear. Let alone, you know what I'm saying, the reports that he really didn't make it. But that's not gonna go down like that in history because they did that ceremonial weigh and stuff. They only talk about when Tank missed weight. They don't talk about when Shakur missed weight. It's like when you young, Tank, Shakur, David Benavidez, they all miss weight. Mr. Gary Russell, he had to shrink down and cut 5. He had to lose 5 pounds before that Lomachenko fight. Still dropped Lomachenko. They won't speak on that. You do some shit, you want to get off into some shit like this and develop a storyline like that, then all of a sudden, oh, you stepping on toes. How are you stepping on toes when you developing a story? When you putting together a work of art, in your mind, hoping that it come. Hoping that we get to see something like that. That'll answer a lot of questions, because people be saying they want, listen, people be saying that they want to see the best, they want to see the big fights, and they want to do this and they want to do that. Listen, they really don't, man. I witnessed Blair the Flair Cobbs. I witnessed Blair the Flair Cobbs call into a show yesterday. When he got on there, he addressed Bill. He told that man, Bill, listen, I want to fight. Got much respect from you, this and this and that. Bill wanted to talk. Brill snatched him up into that Ryan stuff. Blair answered it too. You know, Blair answered the way he answered. You know, the audience, he was there. They cooked him. Blair finally was just like, man, listen, man, well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. That's not really my thing, getting off into that. This is just what I know. That's not my thing. I'm talking about a fight between Blair the Flair Cobbs and DHP. But when you got somebody that's going to put the money up when you want to do it, let's do it February 14th, where it's nothing but love. What's more love than Blair the Flair versus Devin Haney? Let's do it. We got history in Spawn. You already know how it is. You already know he been sucking down, you know what I'm saying? That'll be his right weight class. Let's do it. Because after all, there was a point in time when all them young guys, Boots, all them young guys was aiming for Conor Ben, Devin. It was like they were salivating to get to Adrian Broner. That dude, Santiago, wound up getting to Adrian Broner first. And right after Santiago did that to Adrian Broner, when Santiago got pickpocketed, Gary Antoine Russell came out and put the boom pang pows down on Santiago. Pieced him up. It's in my boxes to watch. That's the highlight from that. So everybody was gunning for AB. And as abstract as Blair the Flair is, as inactive as you say he is, even though they killed his momentum twice, they killed his momentum after the Maurice Hooker fight. They killed it. Kept him off the shelf. In this abstract way, and as abstract he is, he landed on the Adrian Broner fight. When just before that, everybody was saying that Devin should fight him. But guess what? They give Blair no credit for actually beating him. Well, he the one that got the Hall of Fame on his resume now. And everybody respect AB. Nobody saying that's a prime AB. But who was saying that was a prime Loma when Devin got him? It was okay when Devin did it because it was cool. It was a notch on the belt. But when Blair get Adrian Broner, and they both the same age, Oh, he don't get no credit for that. AB was washed. Devin would have got all the credit in the world. That's the backdrop. So when the man pulls up and say, hey, I want to fight, let's do it on February 14th. You can say you think Blair goofy, y'all. You don't like his hair. You don't like his teeth, his glasses, whatever. The man pulled up like a G and said, let's fight. Let's get this on. Just admit, Blair. Blair, just admit. Admit you ain't got a fight lined up, Blair. I'm like, are y'all boxing fans or not? Are y'all boxing fans or not? You got to salute the host for making it all possible to be able to see it. But after you do that, because that's what you do. That's why I pay my membership, because I'm like, okay, I'm saluting some of the best interviews, the most access. I think he's the hardest working man in the boxing game. I salute him all day for that. I salute the host all day for that. I admire that work. I said nobody in the boxing work harder than that dude. As far as content and boxing and media, and nobody work harder than that dude. I give that to him hands down. I don't agree with most of the shit he say, but that's just my opinion, because I watched it and seen it play out and how it's different. But then and there, that the people that was listening jumped on Blair, and he wound up getting out of there. But it was on a note that wasn't that good. Why? Because they backed Blair into a corner to say that he didn't have a fight on deck. Even though the consensus is that fight would sell. Blair can sell a fight, and Blair is awkward enough and can hit and got power in both hands. And in his abstract way, he's strategic enough. He might be zany enough to be competitive with anybody. That's a good fight. That's the consensus. They made it seem like when he walked away that that's not a good fight. That Devin really going for legacy. That, oh man, Blair just want this because he ain't got nothing going on and he broke. And then come to find out about 45 minutes later, Bill's talking. And somehow Teofimo come, because, Bill keep bringing up Teofimo. One punch to call Teofimo and set it up and this and this and that. And Bill Haney, lo and behold, he tell Punch, we ain't got no fight lined up. Oh man, I said, man, just about before when Blair was on the line, y'all made it seem like he ain't had no fight lined up. He broke, he ain't shit. But here you are 45 minutes later, talking about we ain't got no fight lined up. But I'm a hater because I observed it and I put it all together like that, based on my experience from seeing that whole interaction. I'm like, listen, Blair, he pulled up with more than what we thought. He pulled up saying, let's fight. Blair kept bringing it back around to, look, all I'm saying is, man, let's fight, man. And Blair even said that, he said in the era where everybody want to be online talking and doing all this, I'm putting up saying, hey, listen, man, let's fight. It's time. Guess what they said? Oh, man, nobody wanted no 35-year-old prospect, a 35-year-old prospect that just put Adrian Broner on the map. He got Maurice Hooker. He shared the ring with Alexis Rocha. He has a resume. Through all the inactivity, and you know what label he was on. And I'm not going to act like, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to act and plead and do all this. I'm just saying the energy of it all. It's like, that's a good fight. But I heard a lot of fans, oh, nah, man, nah, nobody wanted. He pulled up saying, let's fight. He even said, listen, I'm not even going to be greedy with the money. He said, I'm going to be fair in the negotiation. Listen, man, it don't take all that. We can do it here. We can do it. You know what I'm saying? He had a plan. He had a date. He had all that. And boxing fans said, man, fuck that. We don't want to see that. Don't nobody want to see that. I said, that's why I said, man, that's why I see, yeah, I'm going to keep putting these stakes in the ground for what's going on. And I would love to be trying to developing stories like this, which is like really legacy for me, with a nice big storyline. I would want to spend my time doing that, highlighting, okay, man, the possibilities, man, getting the film together, seeing how this and building up on that. I would rather be doing that kind of stuff. But the way boxing is now, it's like everybody can run around just saying, oh, man, yeah, he don't want no smoke. He ducking and dodging. And all their behavior don't line up with the shit that they be saying. And when you point that out, I'm the hater. It's like, nah, man, we in a different era, man. And when we try to tell people, man, that even as boxing fans get in the way of fights. They step in the way. And I'm gonna keep giving y'all this example from a couple weeks ago when David Benavidez came out and said, listen, man. Well, when the reports came out first saying that him and when reports came out saying that him and David Morrell basically had came, almost, came to an agreement to get it on or whatever. They working it out. They doing this. Oh man, nobody want to see that. I'm like, all this time we've been clamoring for something like that. They got in the way. The boxing guy said, hold my beer. And next thing you know, the fight was announced. They said, oh man, here you go, man. David, man, come on, man. Boxing fans had this posture. You know why the reaction was that? Because all that shit they were saying about how David didn't really want to fight Canelo. That shit like splashed back in their face. That shit splashed back in their face and they ain't like the taste. So they had to act like that. Oh man, look, there go David, man. Morrell, man. Who is Morrell, man? Morrell is the guy that was fighting them WBA mandatories since 2021. I think 2020, I go over them dates. Since 2021, at least. That's who David Morrell was. He was fighting all the mandatories. All that dumb shit people be talking about. Oh man, who was this ranked? Well, the guy that was coming up and stepping up that was going to be the mandatory, he was fighting them guys in that line for Canelo. That's why they was calling him El Sicario. So for David Benavidez to say, you know what, I'm going up to 75. I'm building my own way. I'm getting up out of the shadow of always wanting this Canelo stuff. They still attach Canelo to him and ride him for that. But he said, I'm going up to 75. And guess what? In the energy that we would like in our boxing fans, as boxing fans, in our fighters, David Morrell said, oh, you going to 75? Shit, I'm going to 75 too. We both going to 75. And now they get in the fight, and boxing fans were not happy. That's why I started saying, you know what? I'm about to be 44, man. I might be getting too old, man. Like with my logic and how I see this boxing shit, I might be getting a little bit too old, man. And I'm not casual enough to not appreciate when people show and display and keep that energy where they really want to fight and they make moves to show that. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that I hope that we keep ourselves accountable in boxing conversations, man, and what we really want, because it was some things, it used to be where some older people used to get together and sit around. It was a real good environment. It was well balanced, but guess what happened? They ain't around no more. It's the Wild Wild West, man, and can't nobody say, hey, man, and I don't know about that, man. Can't nobody say that, oh, here you go, boom. Until they feel like, oh, yeah, I'm done. I'm tired of it. I can't do it. I'm not putting on no more. Oh, so all that time you were putting on. Oh, okay, cool. As long as I know I wasn't gaslighting nobody, as long as I know I still held it down, I'm going to keep holding it down. And this is the 300. This is Fruits and Veggies, Not That Reggie. Fact-based content. Not opinion-based. The alternative to opinion-based. That's what this is. You know what I'm saying? So keep your eyes on the prize, man. Keep your eyes on the prize. Be binary. Did we get the fight or didn't we? Because all the back and forth between the followers and all that, the negative connotation that the Schofields, I'm so glad they're getting ready to fight, because the negative connotation that Schofield get, the disrespect he get as a boxing father, them calling a man woman names and stuff like that. I'm like, man, but I be going too far for calling people out on their bullshit straight up, on some straight up shit. Boxing talk, I'll be wrong, but then you get to put boxers up in dresses. You get to call black people coons. Some races get to say, oh man, monkey, come get this banana. All that shit is all good, but the shit I say is so egregious to warrant some dumb shit, right? Right. I don't know. I hope Schofield go in there and do his thing. You know what I'm saying? The shit that he talked about other fighters, like with him and Keyshawn and then him and Tank and all that. Fighters supposed to do that. But the disrespect that man father get, the disrespect that Norman father get, the disrespect. And that's all because whoever prepared your pizza and put all them toppings on it and made it smell good, you like it. So you enjoying it. But when somebody do that to a fighter you like Bill, they pull his card and speak the truth on him and say some shit like B-Hop would still be in litigation right now if Bill would have went in that bathroom with B-Hop, we might be speaking to B-Hop on a recorded call on a collect call from the penitentiary. When somebody say some shit like that, oh, there you go. I can't believe it. There's such disrespect for Devin. What did he ever do? My friend. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what else to say, man. I keep these around about an hour, man. I could go on. We can go on and we can talk about some things. You know what I'm saying? We can ask because, you know, I keep this the underlying thing. I can't understand why nobody in the faction is talking about Murtazaliev, man, and the opportunity to answer all the questions. Everybody talking about Virgil. So I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a directive from I don't know if that's a whole directive from this guy right here. It might be. It might be a directive from him, but man, I would be more interested in that. I would be interested in that. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm hearing Madrimov and Boychuk. Is it gonna be Madrimov and Boychuk? Somebody got to mix it up with Lubin. I would have loved to see Lubin and Virgil, and see Boots go ahead and use that IBF to jump up and get Murtazaliev, man. It's a movie with a backstory. It could be played upon, man. It could be played upon. It could be built, and it make all the sense in the world. But I don't know. Whenever you hear, that's why I say, man. I seen an interview with Gary Russell and them, and all they had them really talking about was Tank. I said, man, we want to know about the Russells, man. But they'll do that with us, man. They'll do that with us, man. They'll divide us. They'll splinter us up, man, and have us looking like crabs in the barrel. That's why sometimes, man, it don't matter where you say. You can say Baltimore, DC. You can say wherever, man. The DMV, I mean, you know, they look at us like crabs, bro. And they play us every time. Every time they shove a mic in our face or have us do a sit down, they make us look like crabs. I mean, that was one of our logos for the longest time. It's you know, the crab. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it don't make no sense right now, but that's my vent session, man. I really the question is, this is the question. This weekend, who will walk away more influential after the fight? Will it be O'Shaquie Foster, Robson Conceição, or Schofield? And what, Gil was his name? Gildan or something? Will O'Shaquie Foster walk away with the juice, or will it be Schofield? I think Schofield will knock Buddy out, and I hope, even though I think Conceição got robbed by Valdez, and that's what that was all about, Even though I believe that him getting that belt in his hand. I hope O'Shaquie, man, because O'Shaquie, I seen an interview with him. They kept asking him about the old stuff, and O'Shaquie told him, like, I don't know, he told this man like 9 different ways. I'm looking ahead. I'm moving forward. The dude kept asking him about some shit back there. I said, we ain't learned nothing new about O'Shaquie. But who am I? I'm just a critic, man. And I take ownership of that. I'm not gonna be sometimey with my criticism. You know what I'm saying? And what I like to critique. I think O'Shaquie got the goods. Hopefully he gonna, you know what I'm saying, do his thing. He's not gonna leave it up to the judges' scorecards, and he's gonna make a statement. Because everybody and their mama know that O'Shaquie Foster should still have that belt around his waist. And we get to see what Floyd Schofield is all about. You know what I'm saying? Because the internet and talking and all that, just like Bernard Hopkins said, boxing will call your bluff. And if you ain't ready, you can get H2O. You can get H2O when you boxing and boxing and boxing. Like how Frank was boxing and boxing. And he was boxing and boxing and BOP! It's over. Lucas Body said BOP, BOP! It was over. All that boxing and boxing. You gotta be able to do that for 12 rounds and get away. You know what I'm saying? So, trying to think if I had anything else on my mind, and I don't. But it's sit back and observe and watch and listen. You know what I'm saying? Going forward, sit back and just watch. Sit back and just listen to some of these things that's being put out there. Sit back and listen to the energy when a fight comes up and who has selective energy. Oh, I'll move up to this. Oh, yeah, I'll go up there and get Barrios, but you ain't saying shit about Norman. Oh, I'll move up and fight Isaac Pitbull Cruz, but you ain't saying nothing about Subriel. Like, it's just selective, man, and that's the word. I knew it wasn't gonna get the congregation jumping for joy. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna get the congregation jumping for joy. I just ask that y'all support your boy. At a minimum, hit the like button. Because I always at least try to put something in your rucksack that you can march on with, something that you can grow with, something that you can use. Something that actually made you use your critical thinking skills. But man, you know, that energy that we be having, you know what I'm saying? When the standard is high for that one fighter, let's keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I ain't gonna lie, man, that energy Errol Spence had, man, whenever he was active, man, that energy is I don't see it, man. That man Errol brought it, man. Errol said, I'm gonna keep that same energy. Errol was coming. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, the inactivity and accident and all that, it kind of, you know, it did have an impact on him. But that energy, man, for him telling us what he wanted to do and then going out there and do it, barring the little setbacks he had from his personal life, interfering with it, that energy it ain't been the same. That energy it ain't too many people with that energy. I don't care. You can let them gaslight you all you want. But that energy for where I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go do that, the Errol had that energy. And he went out there and did it, man. You can't say nothing about Errol. And then with, you know, the way he handled everything after the fight and all that, that energy, we ain't had that energy since, man. We have not had that energy, man. That's why, you know, that energy of Errol Spence, we need that back, man. You might think, oh, man, he got his ass whooped. He need to retire. He need to do this. Yeah, he need to find a trainer. He need to do his thing, whatever. But we gotta keep it a buck, man. That energy that Spence had, man, it's gone, man. It's gone, man. And we miss it. I know me as a boxing fan, man, I miss that energy, man. I miss that energy, man. But thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that. Bop.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. It was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Body Work.